Hello everyone, hi, how are you guys doing? Welcome back to another episode of Hannibal Reaction. This is our live, and my name is Matt. And I got a new chair. How about that shit? Anyway, hello. Yeah, whatever. What were we doing? Hannibal, yes. So last time on Hannibal, what happened? We're in the middle of the Cheesecake Reaper arc. I mean, the Cheesecake Reaper arc might just be the entire show, actually. But that's what we're doing. Like 2 episodes ago, it was introduced that Hannibal is the Cheesecake Reaper. And I'm going to continue to call him that. And previous episode, what was the deal with previous episode? I kind of forgot about it. Like, it feels like all of this just kind of merges together a little bit. I said that mostly because of the titles. Like, the titles of the episodes do not help me. Because I just kind of forget. Like, in some shows, titles makes everything more memorable, but in this instance, they do not. Oh yeah, we did have that one dude, the dude that was removing organs, and we caught him red-handed, and we thought that maybe he was a Cheesecake Ripper, but it wasn't. He was just some unrelated dude that just performed surgeries on people and took their organs. We learned a lot about Hannibal. He has a therapist and he wants a friend because he is lonely. That was most of what my discussion previous episode was about. The fact that he probably doesn't have much of a social life and he desperately wants to have one. But in order to have one, he needs people he can connect with, which means that he needs people that understand him. But people that understand him are people that are going to know that he's a serial killer. So in some way, the only person he can really connect with are people that know about the Cheesecake Ripper, but they don't know it's him. So Will is the one that can connect with the most, so I feel some sort of affinity towards Will. That's what I figured last episode. We also got to meet Franklin. I remembered while editing, his name is Franklin. And it's this dude that just wants to be friends with Hannibal, and he doesn't know what he's getting himself into. Yeah, that was it. Jack Crawford has fears that he might get Will killed in the same way that he did Miriam. And that was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. And then we also got to see Hannibal just cook people, but that's just every episode. Anyway, I feel like we may begin. So, Hannibal, Season 1, Episode 8? Season 1, Episode 8. Let's go. Oh, and remember to check out the Patreon for early access and full-length reactions. Wink. So, yeah. Hannibal, Season 1, Episode 8. Let's go. No, I have to be careful not to touch the microphone. Let's go.
These strings are harder to bow than the regular ones.
Is this his friend? Hmm? Oh! They're made of human guts. Okay, there we go.
Did you think it was a date?
Honestly, it never crossed my mind.
Oh. I'm not even seeing any tracks. I mean, except for the ones we made.
I found myself looking at my friends through your eyes, imagining what your diagnosis might be.
Hmm.
So you become a psychoanalyst?
I become you.
So was that Tobias at the beginning?
I Googled psychopaths, went down the checklist, and I was a little surprised to see how many boxes I had checked.
You're not a psychopath. Although you may be attracted to them.
That's fucking funny. Is that a murder? Holy shit. This is fun because we know exactly who it was. I really like that they're bringing Tobias and they're making him a weirdo, because the last episode, on like the one scene he was in, I was like, he seems a little cold.
Not any easier, Jack.
What is it taking? It also doesn't help that all the murders he looks at are fucking wild ones. Fucking impale with a shallow, fungus people, whatever. Like, none of them are like normal murders. Who that? Oh, I think it's Hobbs. Yeah, it was Hobbs. I saw a bald dude and I was like, it's Hobbs. I like that he looks dead.
I feel protective of you. You support me as a colleague and psychiatrist and as a human being. I want to be supportive of you after what happened.
Oh, what happened to her?
I'm not the only psychiatrist who's ever been attacked by a patient.
Oh, and that's why she quit, probably.
The sulfur dioxide had the effect of hardening the vocal cords.
Okay, that explains it.
Made them easier to play.
He's not doing okay.
To open you up to get a decent sound out of you.
Because, like, that... Wow, that sounded really bad. Oh, Will's not doing okay.
He's killed before.
Also
Like
that.
this? No, not like this.
Who would have heard about him?
This is a skilled musician trying a new instrument.
I like that Jack was like, you seem to be getting better at this. And immediately Will falls apart.
I hear what he was playing behind my eyes when I closed them.
What do you see behind closed eyes?
I see myself.
Hmm.
He wants to show someone how well he plays.
Tobias was saying very dark thing.
King Hannibal's like right in the middle.
He wanted to cut someone's throat and play it like a violin. He found somebody whose throat was cut and played like a violin.
This is funny. Hannibal has all the information.
Why would he say something like that to me?
What do you think?
Because he's playing
He
you like a
knows I'll tell
violin.
you.
Hmm. Oh, this is weird. Two psychopaths kind of interacting with each other.
What brings you here looking for God? My harpsichord needs new strings. It's making an awful noise. Perhaps you could help.
Oh my god. Oh, this is wonderful. This is very fun. That also means though that if one of them gets caught, the other one could get caught too. So, okay, what now? Is Will is this just hallucinations or is it real?
By the time I knocked a hole in the chimney, it climbed out the top.
Or it was never done to begin with?
Well, at least it got out.
Are we doing this? Okay. This feels sudden.
The way that I am in relationship. Not that this is a relationship, it's just a kiss. The way that I am isn't compatible with the way
I am.
you wouldn't be good for me, and I wouldn't be able to stop analyzing because I have this professional curiosity about you.
It doesn't care.
I'm gonna go ahead and go now. Good night, Will.
Okay. I have no idea where this is going. I'm low-key worried she's just gonna die. Oh, he invited him. I feel like Frank is gonna be like, you two were hanging out together.
Did you kill that trombonist?
You really have to ask.
No. Just changing the subject.
Franklin gave you my message.
Yeah.
Murder is being investigated by...
Oh my god.
They're going to find you.
Let them.
Hmm?
I was going to kill you.
Of course you will.
Makes sense.
Lean animals yield the toughest gut. What stopped you from wanting to kill me? Or have you stopped?
I was gonna ask
I
that.
stopped after I followed you one night out of town.
And he saw
It's a lonely road.
what he
To a
did.
bus yard.
Oh! When he posted the body previous episode. What are we eating again? Tobias might die right here. The thing is that he needs to dispose of a body after
I
that.
could use a friend. Someone who can understand me. Who thinks like I do and can see the world and the people in it the way I do.
I know exactly how you feel.
He does.
But I don't want to be a friend.
You're too pushy.
I didn't poison you, Tobias, so I wouldn't do that to the food.
Oh, respect for the food. Is it 1 Will, 2 Jack, 3 Franklin, 4 Alana? Well, okay. Will walks into 2 psychopaths, serial killers. This entire sequence is
There was no animal in the chimney. It was only in my head. Unstable.
you are.
That's why you kissed him. A clutch for balance. A patient told me today he suspects a friend of his may be involved with the murder at the symphony. In a long while, I see a possibility of friendship.
Is there someone new in your life?
I met a man, much like myself, same hobbies, same worldviews. But I'm not interested in being his friend. I'm curious about him. And that got me curious about friendship.
Whose friendship are you considering?
Oddly enough, a colleague and a patient. Not unlike how I'm a colleague and a patient of yours. We've discussed him before. You see the world in different ways.
Yes.
Yet you can assume my point of view.
By profiling the criminally insane.
As good a demonstration as any.
It's nice when someone sees us, Hannibal. Or has the ability to see us. It requires trust. Trust is difficult for you.
The richer, darker sound allows music to say what words can't.
Will is not doing fine. He's freaking out. No, that wasn't real.
Something wrong?
That wasn't real. Why would Will come here alone? I mean, I know he came with like 2 random policemen, but like, they're not characters. I am worried. What medication is he taking, by the way? He might walk inside and the random policemen are gonna be dead. Yep. Be careful behind you. I have to applaud anyone who does this shit. Like, I'm going alone into this creepy ass dungeon where a serial killer clearly is located in. I would literally just leave the building and wait for backup. Okay, there we go. Wow, this creepy ass human lab dungeon ass motherfucking place. Like, my god. There's so many potential weapons you could get hit by here. And you're in melee range too. Like, this is not an open space. And the noises he's hearing might not even be real. Behind you, behind you, behind you. Yeah? Got him. You got him. Oh, but that was, oh yeah, that was a gunshot right next to your ear. That was, he didn't land a shot on him, on like his ear. Oh my god, that's terrible. He did literally do a gunshot right next to his ear.
You focus too much on your therapist. And not enough on your therapy.
You lost respect for me because I wouldn't report Tobias, didn't you?
Report Tobias for what?
Oh man.
This plane is going down.
Hannibal's gonna kill Franklin.
Controlled descent.
Maybe.
Get you back
Or
up
maybe
in
he's
the
just gonna
air.
watch how this
There's
develops.
rehabilitation for everyone.
Franklin, I want you to leave now.
Stay right where you are, Franklin.
Franklin is legitimately
You're
trying.
probably scared. You probably feel like you're all alone.
I'm not alone.
That's right, you're not alone. Then you and I can't.
There we go, dead. Because Tobias was about to say. And now he has to kill Tobias. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. You're not defeating Hannibal. Kind of the perks of having the name of the show be his literal name. This is interesting though. This is fucking interesting. Ugh. I mean, he has to kill Tobias. First of all, because Hannibal can't lose this fight. But also because if Tobias talks, like if he survives, then he'll just tell everyone, oh yeah. Oh, that's a good stab. Oh, that's a good stab. Oh, he dropped the thing. Nice. I like this because this is like, how does it feel to actually have to get your hands dirty? This is like an actual fist fight. This is good. I like this. Oh, get fucked. Broken arm. What are you gonna do? Oh, that's a good one. Oh, he's using the deer, the moose, whatever. Dead. He does kind of have a cover in saying he came here for Franklin. What? Why? Why instantly go for the piano? Is Will gonna feel like responsible to a little bit?
I was worried you were dead.
Oh, okay.
I came to kill my patient.
Your patient, is that who Budge was serenading?
I don't know.
You killed him.
Mm-hmm.
Could Franklin have been involved in
Oh.
what Budge was doing?
Oh.
I thought this was a simple matter of poor choice and friends.
This doesn't feel simple to me.
I feel like I dragged you into my world.
Yeah.
I got here on my own. But I appreciate the company.
Wow, this is crazy. This is such a good episode. This is such a good scene. Okay. Oh, and he has the same thing that happened to her.
I can't help feeling responsible for what happened to Franklin.
Every person has an intrinsic responsibility for their own life, Hannibal. But I don't take responsibility for his death.
Did she kill him?
No, should you?
I want to learn more about her. Okay, that was cool. That was a good episode. I like that one. Okay, full length people, you do discussion bit. Like, episode ends, and like the first thing I'm thinking is it normal for me to never know what the fuck is going through Hannibal's brain? Because like he continues to say shit that I'm just like, I listen to that and I'm like, are you lying or not? I feel like he's not. Like, okay, so what I'm referring to specifically right now that it comes to mind is when he says at the end, I feel responsible for Franklin's death. And that is not necessarily a lie, because, okay, here's the thing. It's funny because he's the one that killed him. But that doesn't mean that he's lying, because he could feel responsible, because if he had done things differently, Tobias wouldn't have been here and Franklin wouldn't have to die. So he does feel like, okay, maybe I fucked up here, okay? So that makes sense. But at the same time, you do hear the person that murdered that person say, I feel responsible for the death. And it's like, yes, because you killed him. Like, you were the one that literally snapped his neck. You made the decision to do it and pull the trigger and did it. So you are responsible for his death. So, like, you are the most responsible person for his death. Well, second to arguably fucking, I already forgot his name. Tobias, there we go. Yo, I like that Tobias was such a big thing this episode, because like it's weird, because like, okay, so last episode when we saw Tobias, I remember seeing him and like, okay, Franklin was like, this is my friend Tobias, and then you see Tobias and he talks, and whatever he says, I don't remember what the fuck it was, it sounded very cold. It sounded like a very robotic kind of person. It sounded like this guy kind of doesn't care. Like, he has no emotion. So, like, when that happens, I'm just like, well, I didn't think too much about it. I was just like, okay, sure, this is the personality that Tobias has. And then Franklin talks about Tobias, and it's like, oh yeah, my friend Tobias, and whatever, right? It's like, oh, he's my best friend, but I don't feel like I'm his. So it's like, okay, he was cold in that scene because he's cold towards Franklin, whatever. Or maybe he's just not a very emotive person, so sure, Franklin feels that way because of that. But this episode is like, actually no. Like, that little thing actually became a thing. Tobias was like cold like that in like the one line that he had previous episode, because he's a psychopath, and he's fucked up, and he's this episode's murderer, this episode's killer. And it was a very fun, interesting episode because it was directly tied to Hannibal as well as the FBI. It was more tied to Hannibal than to the FBI. So the FBI sees the murderer, and then they go and it's like, okay, well, let's find him. And then that kind of happens, and Will is losing his mind because it's like, oh my god, I'm becoming them. You know, the same storyline we've been having the entire time along. And speaking of Will, we've had this weird thing with Will and Alana, where it's like, actually, we might get together, and it's like, okay, I didn't see that one coming, but sure, it's happening, and or maybe not, and then we'll come to that in a second. But my favorite part about this episode is the fact that it was directly tied to Hannibal and Franklin. So Franklin is just like an extension of Hannibal here. He serves as a conductor, where okay, by the way, what I said last episode, last episode discussion was like heavily surrounding Hannibal and the idea that he's lonely because he doesn't have anyone who is like him around him or that understands him. Because like that's the thing. It's like when making friends, and the thing about friendships in general is that you want to have people that understand you. Like that's the thing, and not necessarily to like the deepest of levels, but the more you trust well, the other way around. The more someone knows you and you know them, the more trust there is. Okay, so the closer and the more intimate a relationship would be. That's how it works. For the most part, that's how it works. So that's why you grow closer to people by knowing more about them and from them knowing more about you. And so you trade information and you get closer and relationships grow on basis of that. Hannibal is cursed to never having someone close to him because he can never open up about his murders because otherwise he'll go in jail. So there we go. Hannibal is cursed to loneliness. The curse of a psychopath or whatever. In this episode they actually bring that up, which is what I said previous one, and I'm glad. And it's the idea that what they did is that in this episode they introduced another psychopath that knows about Hannibal. He knows that what Hannibal did. Like Tobias could have totally just rat fucking Hannibal out. He could have just told the police, I saw this guy and he was killing people. You could totally have done that. Like that guy that you found on the bus cut in half, that was Hannibal Lecter. And there we go, gone. But he didn't. But like, it's an episode introduced the idea that another psychopath got closer to Hannibal, and then both of them interacted with each other, and he was like, okay, well, what's gonna happen? Are you gonna get close or whatever? And like, Tobias did want to get closer to Hannibal. He needed a friend. But Hannibal, despite him understanding the feeling of like, I want to have someone around me who understands me, he's like, I don't want to be your friend. So then he has, and I like that Hannibal's like a therapist, like that we had a previous episode came back, and she seems like she's gonna be around for a bit. I don't know her name. I'm sorry. If someone can tell me her name in the comments, then let me know. I don't know. Maybe she'll die next episode, but like tell me anyway, like what her name is. So Hannibal, and so there's even parallels there. Because we learned that she was attacked by a patient and that's why she quit being a therapist. But like in this episode, Hannibal gets attacked by a patient. Well, he gets attacked because of a patient. Not by the patient, but because of one. And then here's the thing, is that Hannibal speaks about how he's like, patients of mine will get treated while sitting in the chair that Franklin died on. I will be sitting on my desk, which is the place where I almost died. So it's like my office is just going to have this stench of death the entire time. And it's not even like a random person that died. It's the place that I almost died on. So it's like this. And this is what I'm wondering is that does he actually feel bad about that? Or does he not care? Because that's the thing about Hannibal is that I never actually know if he cares or if he pretends to care due to the nature of him being a psychopath. Like that's the thing, I never actually know. And I have to assume that he does care. Like he's like, he feels like, or when he said like I was worried that you had died, he told that to Will when Will showed up, and he did have this look of like an emotional look, which usually he doesn't have, Hannibal. Like, Hannibal has... I don't know if I brought this up before with Mads Mikkelsen, but, like, the way Mads Mikkelsen portrays Hannibal is really good. Because he has what I call the psychopath eyes. And it's not about the shape of the eyes or anything, but it's about the expression. And Hannibal does have the psychopath eyes. And I don't know how to explain them. And I don't know if I can replicate it because I'm not psycho. Okay, kind of. How would it? It'd be something like this. Something like this expression, this stare. And then now I just kind of talk about this. So tell me what happened throughout your life. Whatever. So this stare, that's what I call the psychopath eyes. Because, I don't know. That expression to me is just like, it's just like, I don't trust you. You're going to murder me in my sleep. I did have a classmate in high school that had that. And I never trusted him. He was also one of the popular superficial kids too. So that just added on to that because he was like, oh, your entire persona is fake. And you have this stare that tells me that the entire persona is fabricated. So I don't trust you for shit. So anyway, Mads Mikkelsen, he can pull the psychopath eyes with Hannibal. But in that scene where Will shows at the end, like, because he's looking at Jack Crawford, and then behind Jack, Will comes in. And you get to see Hannibal's eyes. And he didn't have that expression. He had a different one. And it was more of a concerning expression. Like he was concerned, right? He was a concerned man. And when Will showed up, like, you see it shift a little bit. And then when they talk, Hannibal was like, I was worried that you had been murdered. And I think... I believe more than anything that is real. Because the thing is that Hannibal, and this is what I like about the parallel with previous episode in here. Well, it's just a parallel between two characters, right? It's the idea that Tobias wanted to be Hannibal's friend. And Hannibal, even though they understand each other and they know each other's secret, Hannibal is like, I don't want to be friend with this guy. Because I just don't like this guy. Like, even if he understands, I don't like him. Will is someone that Hannibal does like. But... they are cursed to never see the world in the same way. And by the way, maybe Hannibal Syrup is suspicious of Hannibal. Because Hannibal does speak of, like, we see the worldview in very different ways, but because of his work, he may be able to understand me a little bit more. And she's like, by diagnosing this criminally insane, and Hannibal's like, yeah, well, you know. It's like, okay, maybe she can infer something from there. But... or maybe she already knows. I don't know anything about her. But anyway. Sorry, I hit the mic. But anyway. The thing is that we get to see the parallel between Tobias, which is someone that is completely on the same page as Hannibal, except that they don't get along. And Hannibal's like, I don't want to be your friend. But then Will is someone that Hannibal does like. Like, Will is someone that I don't know if Will found out that Hannibal Lecter was Hannibal Lecter. If Will found out and they were like alone in the same building and Hannibal totally had the chance to kill him, I don't know if it would. I don't know if Hannibal would kill Will. Like, I feel like Hannibal has enough affinity towards Will because Will understands him really well, and also Will is a nice person, and also he's dog lover supreme, he's innocent as a puppy, and he has a lot of issues and whatever. Like, maybe Hannibal has enough affinity for him to, like, if Will ever finds out, Hannibal won't kill him, and he'll just eat the consequences or run away. I don't know, but like, I don't know if Hannibal would kill him. Like, that is to the level that I feel like Hannibal has an affinity for Will. So there you go. So that's happening. And I like that the episode is bringing it up. The idea that Hannibal feels like he's Will's friend. And that's like the only person he feels like he could be friends with. Or that he wants to be friends with. Because again, so we got Franklin and we got fucking Tobias. And he's like, I don't want to get along with any of them. Will, that's the one. Oh my god, that made me remember. Oh my fucking god. Okay, I need to find it. Oh, I think I saved it. So, what's great about this Hannibal reactions is that my friend keeps sending me dumb memes about Hannibal. And my first thought is like, oh, I'm sharing this. Oh, I'm fucking sharing this one. Oh, this is gonna be great. So good. It's so good. And my immediate response to my friend was like, why does he talk like Yoda? And my friend was like, because. My friend didn't make the meme, by the way. They just shared it. Oh god, I just remember that was so good. That was so good. That's the best part about the Hannibal reactions. The memes. I've seen a couple Twitter memes already. Like, this show is fucking funny. People that watch the show are funny. By the way. Like, I have to say, shout outs to like everyone who's watching this. Maybe not everyone. If you're a psychopath that murders people and are also watching Hannibal reactions, not you. But most people that watch the reactions, you're on the running for being the chillest people on like the comment section for any of the reaction videos that I've done. Like, because like, okay, let's go over the shows that I've watched. You're on the running, tied with like Torchwood, but like other shows that I watch, like Doctor Who. Doctor Who is just a war, and the comment section is just a war because it's just like, oh, the show is not as good as it was before, whatever. Like, I don't care. It's just like, I just want to run away. Some comments are good, but Doctor Who fans are rabid because they're always fighting each other. Then The Expanse is full of people that I'm not mean to talk shit on anyone who ever commented on these videos, because like most people seem to be pretty nice, but like in The Expanse, people are like explaining the logistics of things, and it's like, no, this is really good because this works as if it would work in real life, and that's what makes it so good. And it's and you don't understand because it's like this, and I'm just like, I don't care, man. I just want to watch my cool space show. Like, I don't necessarily care too much about the logistics of things. Sometimes I do, but usually I just kind of want to turn my brain off and be like, man, that's great. And sometimes people would just get upset because of that. And at that point, it's like, well, you're getting in the way of my enjoyment of things. Then the kind of the same thing goes for Dark a little bit. This is a weird tangent going on off. With Dark, a little bit of that too. Not in the sense of explaining like the realistic logistics, because there are none, time travel, but it's more about like people take things way too seriously. And some, like, that's the main problem that I get with some of those shows, like The Expanse and Dark, is that I'm not the kind of person that takes things very seriously, but sometimes people do, and they go like, why don't you? And I'm like, I don't know, man, because I'm like this. Hannibal people in the comments, I literally was just like the Cheesecake Ripper, and people were like, yes, keep going, and I'm like, I'm gonna keep going. Y'all are enabling me. That feels good. It feels good to actually have a shit posty community that kind of doesn't care and is here to have a good time. That feels good. It might be because it's a dead show. Like, it's a dead show from like 2013 or whatever, and because of that, this is all you get. You know, I don't know. It's like Homestuck fans. It's like they're starving. They're out there dying. So like they go and watch streamers that are just shit posty as fuck, and it's, well, that's also because of the source material. Anyway, Hannibal is fun, man. For memes, because of memes like that. Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, okay, sure. Hannibal and Will's relationship is great. Love it. They're the true relationship. Let's talk about the fake relationship, Will and Elena. So Elena, I didn't see that one coming. I suppose a little bit because she was protective of Will. Like, we've seen that. She's protective of Will. She respects him. But at the same time, now we see that the reason why that is because she clearly has some sort of a crush on him. And we don't know if the crush is because she feels pity for him, is because she's interested in him, like curious, and that helps feel more attracted to him, or if he's just legitimately like a normal person, just like, I'm really into that. But also, it is irresponsible of me to get in a relationship with him, because I would find an academic interest in him that would hinder the relationship, and it would upset him, it would piss him off, and he's like, yes, it would. But they both kind of wanted to keep going. But the reason why Will wanted the kiss is because he wanted to be grounded to reality in some way, because he keeps imagining that he hears shit, that he sees shit. He feels unstable. He feels like he's losing it. So at this point, he's like, all right, I need to hold on to something. And this lady's right here. So I guess I'm holding on to that. But then Alana is like, this is not good. And both of them agree. So there you go. Maybe that won't go anywhere, but they planted the seeds for it to go somewhere. Now, what I immediately thought is that might be planting the seeds for, like, I don't know, Alana to die. Because here's the thing. Will's not going to die. Hannibal's not going to die. Everyone else, though, everyone else is up for grabs. And building Alana, so she's a nice character, she's protective, and now we set it up so she has an even romantic interest in the main character, but both of them are like, no, maybe we shouldn't because it's not good. And it's one of those things where it's like, if she dies, it's gonna be a thing of Will is gonna be like, what it could have been, you know, like maybe we should have, because now she's gone, kind of deal. So that could happen. I can see that happening. That was my first thought. But maybe that relationship will be built up further as we go through the show. So yeah, we'll see where that goes. But clearly the relationship that makes the most sense is Will and Hannibal, despite being the agent, the detective, and the murderer, because in some way, like, the only person that ever understands Hannibal, except for Tobias, but Tobias was a dick, is Will. And Will feels like he's losing it, and he needs, like, the person that Will always goes to in order to talk about himself. And again, if you talk about yourself, you open up to other people, and other people open up to you. There is a form of trust, and that's how relationships get closer. That's how it works. So, by the way, the fact that I got this chair, it also enables me to just continuously just spin from one side to the other. Like, that is a curse that I now bear. That is something I did not see coming, but is happening. So, and yes, that now means that Will feels an affinity towards Hannibal because he's the only person he talks to about these things. And Will doesn't even have people in his life to talk to, even, other than work. And so Hannibal is like the only person Will goes to, and then Will is the only person that Hannibal feels like understands him. So the only relationship in this show that like works the most is the both of them, and I am really like that is the best thing about the show. I would say is the development of these two characters together without them without them realizing how crucial this relationship is. Like, okay, Hannibal knows, but like Will doesn't. So there you go. And like the only reason why this works, and in some way the reason why the show works, because we know Hannibal is the killer, and because of the relationship. Because like if we didn't know Hannibal was the killer, we know because it's Hannibal. But also the show tells you like the relationship works because you see both sides. If you didn't know Hannibal was the killer, you wouldn't get the full context as to why it works. And at the same time, if the show didn't follow like Hannibal, I suppose, like if we were just like, if it was literally the same show, but you don't get to see the Hannibal side of things, it also wouldn't work. Like, you need to be able to see it in order to understand it. So it needs to be the thing where they show, I talked about this like previous episode or 2 episodes ago. It needs to be the thing of like the audience sees both sides and the audience knows everything. The characters do not. And that I've said that this way of storytelling can be a little bit not great. It can be a little bit annoying, but in a show like Hannibal, it kind of has to be this way because it's Hannibal. You know it's Hannibal. So you have to know and you have to see him. But a way to make it really interesting is by having both sides kind of have this relationship that it's like it's a very close and intimate relationship without them knowing that it is. Like, I don't know if Will realizes how close he's gotten to Hannibal. Okay, so Will doesn't know about the Hannibal side, but I don't even know he knows his side. And Hannibal knows about how he feels about Will, but I don't know if he knows about how Will feels about him. Which is why previous episode he was like wondering, like, are we a patient therapist or are we actually just talking, hanging out? You know? And this is something I'm wondering. Is just at the beginning of the show, did Hannibal like feel any sort of affinity towards Will? Because I remember Hannibal actually like fucking with him and like pointing him to against like Jack Crawford and shit. And he could still do that. But does he actually care about Will and things regarding Will's life? Or does he just care about Will in a sense of like, I want him to hang out with me? I don't know. I don't know how Hannibal sees things. But yeah, there we go. That's happening. And that I would say is the best part about the show so far. And kind of the reason why the show works. Because, you know, it could get, I said it could get annoying if you get to see both sides. And it's just like the audience knows everything, but the characters don't. And then it's like, well, when are they going to get there? The reason why it's interesting and the show works is because of the relationship that is being built. That's what the show is doing. So there we go. Okay, now that I said that, and now that I showed the meme, let's go back to the episode. What else do I want to talk about? That was most of what was interesting in the episode. I don't know if Will's ear will be fine because he literally did. I like that he shot the guy like this, and that crippled him so bad. Both of them, like mostly Will, I suppose. Like the guy. I don't know why the guy was less crippled than Will, but sure. Both. Well, he was being held or whatever. So sure. But I like that he crippled him so much because he did just fire a gun next to his ear, and I wasn't even considering that because that is the kind of thing that I forget that is a thing. But the show made it so you hear the ringing as soon as the gunshot goes off, and you're like, oh, that's what happened. Ah, yeah, that does happen. Oh, that's bad. And I like that crippled Will so much. Then Tobias just came all the way here. We murdered Franklin, and then he had a fist fight with Hannibal. And I do like the fight with Hannibal because here's the thing. Is that you often see Hannibal and just serial killers in general. They are predators. So the way they murder people is by surprising them. Just surprise round, instant hit, critical damage, dead. There we go. Just that's how it works. So Hannibal probably doesn't do a lot of fighting, you know? He probably has done a fair bit of fighting, you know, people can sometimes resist. But for more often than not, I would assume that he's the kind of person that prepares everything so everything goes according to plan, everything goes smoothly, and he just plans the kill and we're done. And also because you never see him with like bruises or anything, so he probably doesn't fight often. But in this instance, he had to fight Tobias. And I do like that in this instance, Hannibal, you get to see him struggle. You get to see him get his hands dirty. And he ends up winning because you know he's going to win. He's Hannibal. He's the name of the show. Like, he's going to survive. And Tobias is going to tell everyone that he is Hannibal. So Tobias has to die. So you know the outcome already. But it is fun to see him struggle. You know, it is fun to see that. Because it makes you almost remember that he's human. And that he can, in this case, literally bleed. You know? Because oftentimes he acts as this like elitist, like superior to you. I know everything. I'm so much smarter, and I can read you like a book, and I can play you like a violin. Like he has this aura about him, but in this instance, he's in a situation where he's not in control, and that is very fun to see him struggle so much, and actually his life is on the line. So that was a fun thing to see. I like that. I like that a lot. So Tobias, I could tell that you are a one-off character. You are probably the best one-off character so far, because you created a conflict that was so good in the grand scheme of things. So that was fantastic. So yeah, that was good. Franklin died. I don't care. I'm not gonna lie to you. I saw that coming from the moment he was introduced, due to the nature of him just floating around Hannibal. So I was like, all right, he's gonna die. I don't know how or when, but he's gonna die. So there we go. The Tobias thing came out of nowhere, but it was great. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for this episode. I want to know more about the Hannibal's therapist. That was really good. That was really good. I want to know more about that. And yeah, Will is losing his mind. Like at the beginning of the episode, it's weird how Jack was like, "You're getting used to this," and then Will clearly is not. He sees cops. He continuously sees. Oh, there's one scene. It's okay. So it's when they're seeing the body. Like the science team is checking the body and they're saying what they're fine, and Will is sitting next to them, and he has this like 1,000-year stare. He's just like completely just gone, and then he just kind of looks at the body as they're talking about something. They're talking about the vocal cords or whatever, and he says, "Had to open you up to get a decent sound out of you." And that makes it so the entire science team has this face of like, what the fuck? And they all look at him in silence. And it's great because that is the kind of line that that is the kind of life that Tobias would have said, you know? So in that instance, in that moment, Will was almost like dissociating and acting as the killer would act. Like his brain was emulating the killer's brain, Tobias's brain. And he says something that sounds like something Tobias would have said. And then everyone just kind of looks at him like, okay, sure. Anyway, moving on. And Will has this moment where he goes back and he looks down and then he gets more pills, I think. I don't know what he's taking, but he's on something. Yeah, Will is losing it. And this is not a new development. This is something that's been going on since the show literally began, but it's just getting worse and worse. So that looks like a ticking time bomb. Prediction time. Will ends up killing someone, either accidentally or because of this, because of the fact that he's losing it. Hannibal then helps Will, and we have a situation sort of like Abigail. How about that shit? And then they get closer. But Will doesn't like it. But Hannibal is like, we're not so different, you and I. That's wild prediction. Throwing shit at the wall. Just. Anyway, that's it for the episode reaction. Okay. That's it for the episode discussion, actually. So yeah, thank you so much for tuning in for that. And if you would like to see more episodes of Hannibal reactions, you can do so over at Patreon. Check out the link in the description for that. Social media, everything else. You can also check full-length reactions. Hey! But yeah, check out everything there, and I'll see you next time, okay? Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.